Hi, I'm Toga, and today I have for you a 15-minute yin class for your hips. So today we'll be doing some butterfly and then we'll be moving into some sleeping swan. So I would recommend that you have maybe 2 blocks available, a bolster. If you don't have a bolster, you can use a couch cushion or maybe a couple blankets stacked together, and then get into a comfortable position, comfortable clothes, and anything I cue you to do that doesn't feel right for you or your body today, feel free to take a different version. You know your body best, so whatever is going to work for you today, please do that. And if you're ready, we'll go ahead and we'll get started supine lying down, and we'll just do a brief centering. If you'd like to center in a seated position too, that's totally fine. It's up to you. But just come to a comfortable position here for a moment. Wherever you are, maybe your palms turn up towards the ceiling. If it feels comfortable to close down your eyes, I invite you to do that. Otherwise, you can softly gaze down the tip of your nose. And just drop into your breath, drop into your body, letting go of anything else you have going on today. And if it feels comfortable, you can start to bring some awareness to your breath here. Paying attention to your inhales and your exhales. You don't have to change anything about them, just observe them. Maybe the depth, the quality of them. If you'd like to start to take some deeper breaths here, I invite you to do that. Otherwise, you can just stay with that breath awareness, focusing on your inhales and your exhales. And take one last inhale here. And then on your exhale, if your eyes are closed, maybe you flutter them open. If you want to keep them closed, that's also fine. And we'll move into our first pose, which is a supine butterfly. So a couple different options here. If you have your 2 blocks, you might want to have one on either side of your mat. So coming into butterfly, we'll just press the soles of our feet together and let our knees drop out to the side. And this is where those blocks can be pretty helpful. Your blocks have 3 different heights. So if you need it up on a higher height, medium height, lower height, feel free to take what works for you today. And your heels can be farther away from your sit bones, or they can be a little closer. It just kind of depends on what stretch you're going for today. So set up in a way that you are experiencing some sensation. Because this is a yin class, we're looking for about a 3. If you imagine 1 being a restorative pose where you're not really getting a lot of sensation, you're totally relaxed, and 5 is maybe much more intense, maybe it's a vinyasa flow. A 3 is what we're looking for in yin. So you're feeling something, you're not feeling nothing, but you're definitely not in any pain, and you're definitely not really uncomfortable. So if at any point you're starting to feel stress or pain anywhere, please come out of this or adjust with props in any way that it's going to make it a little bit more comfortable for you. So wherever you are in your pose here, we're going to hold this for 3 minutes. And again, if you feel like at any point you need to add a prop or remove a prop to get the level of sensation you're looking for here, feel free to do that. You are not locked into any pose at any time. See if you can shift your shoulder blades underneath your back a little bit more and see if that can open up your chest a little bit. Your hands can be turned up towards the ceiling here. Or if it feels good, you can always place your hands on your body, maybe one hand on your abdomen, one hand on your chest. If you're looking for even a little extra grounding or support on your hips, you could place perhaps one hand on the inside of each thigh. If you have a blanket handy, you could always also drape that blanket across your hips as well. So just like we did at the beginning with our centering, we're going to link up with our breath here. Being aware of our inhales and our exhales. Again, not forcing anything or not changing anything if that doesn't feel comfortable, but just bringing some awareness to the cadence of our breath today. And if at any point you're coming towards your edge, the point of the pose where you're really feeling some sensation and you're feeling like you might need to back out, come back to that breath and find that awareness of your inhales and your exhales. And see if that helps a little. Take one more nice breath here. And on your exhale, you can place a hand on either side of your knee and gently lift those knees up towards the sky. If you have those blocks, if they were underneath your knees, you can shift them to the side. And then walk your feet to each edge of the mat. And then you can either let your knees collapse together, coming into constructive rest, or if you want to just come into some gentle windshield wipers here, you can drop your knees to one side of the mat and then the other. Moving as slowly as feels comfortable here. Paying attention to any rebound sensation you might be feeling. In yin, we're basically compressing the joints, stretching out the fascia, and then we're releasing it. And that release allows a flood of nutrients and oxygen to come back into those areas of the body. And we're working out our hips today, so you might be feeling some sensation there. Okay, so when you feel even and equal on both sides, we're going to turn over and we're going to set ourselves up for sleeping swan, which is also known as pigeon. So a couple different options here as well. You can use blocks for sleeping swan. Sometimes it feels good to have one underneath your chest, one underneath either your third eye or maybe your forehead. You can also use a bolster or your couch cushion or whatever you're using here. So figure it out, play around, find what prop works for you. I think I'm going to use my blocks today. And if you get into this and this is actually not feeling great at all, another version of this you can take is just on your back and is just a figure four. So you would cross your foot on top of your thigh, and this will still work out that same stretch, but it's a little bit more accessible. So find whatever version of this is going to work for you today. And we'll start with our right leg. So bring your right knee in towards your right wrist, extending that left leg long. Some teachers might tell you that you have to keep that right knee parallel to the top of the mat. You do not. Just find whatever feels good for your body. So if that means you need to walk that right heel in a little bit closer towards your sit bones, feel free to do that. But go for whatever is going to feel good. Remember, we'll be holding this for about 3 minutes each side. So we're looking for that sensation again, but we're looking for a sensation that is not painful in any way. So find a position where you're still experiencing some sensation, but you're not feeling any kind of torque, any kind of uncomfortableness, especially in the knee or the hip area. So wherever you are, remember that you can come out of this at any point if you need to adjust or if you need to add or remove props or blocks or bolsters or whatever it is you're using. If your hip is popping up a little bit, you can also always take a blanket and you can put it underneath your leg or your hip, and that can also offer a little bit of support. So feel free to use whatever props you need here. And wherever you are, see if you can bring your attention back to your breath. See if you can also unclench your jaw, or unfurrow your brow, or unstick your tongue from the roof of your mouth. Anything that's going to bring a little bit more softness to your face. Anything that's going to allow you to melt a little bit deeper, to allow the props you're using to really support you. And take one more breath here. And then on your exhale, you can start to bring yourself back up. And then rolling over onto that right side, you can just sort of swing your body around so that now you're coming all the way back around so that the left leg is going to be out in front. And then you can extend that right leg long. And we'll just set up for the same thing on the opposite side. So you can go ahead and settle in and take whatever props you need to use here. A good thing to remember is that our two sides can be pretty different sometimes, so you might need to use different props on this side of your body than you did on the other side, and that's totally normal. So feel free to play around, add and remove things as needed. Again, if you need that blanket to sort of prop up your hip or any part of your body that's sort of up off the mat, feel free to do that. And you can also always take that supine figure 4 on the other side too, if that feels a little bit more comfortable and feels a little bit better in your body. Again, see if you can check in here. Maybe scanning through the rest of your body, seeing where you might be feeling sensation in this pose and where you might be able to release. Are there any ways you can make yourself a little bit more comfortable? Release a little bit more tension, especially any tension in like the shoulders or the neck, while still accessing that sensation that we're getting in our hips. Imagine yourself fully letting go, fully melting into the mat, onto the props. And on your next inhale, you can slowly begin to walk yourself back up and then shift over onto that left side, swinging the right foot around. And then we'll set up for a brief Shavasana here. You can take Shavasana in a seated position if that's more comfortable to you, or if you'd like to come back down to your back. You can come to whatever pose feels most comfortable for you now. And then just let everything go. You can stay another 5 or 10 minutes here in your Shavasana. Please do so. Otherwise, whenever you're ready, you can bring some awareness back into your fingers and your toes. And you can curl yourself over to one side of the mat and push yourself up into an upright seated position if you're not already there. And bring your hands to your heart center. Bow your head to seal your practice. Thank you for taking the time to come to your mat today and practice with me. I'm Toga. Be well.